We don't buy properties, generally speaking, with any entitlement risk.
What has been some learning lessons that you've learned so far getting into this market that you wish you knew then, but you now know?
I think understanding how to navigate the local jurisdictions, because as I mentioned earlier, we're taking something that's functioning as a commercial asset and changing its use to residential. And that requires getting a change of use permit, making sure that we have the proper zoning to allow for that. And now we have a fantastic team headed up by our head of community relations, Whitney Wilkins, and our head of planning, Jeff Farrell, who are they're talking to the city council, they're talking to the mayor, they're talking to the planning and permitting department before we even buy the property, before we even usually get under contract on the property, to understand what requirements we're going to be held to. We don't buy properties, generally speaking, with any entitlement risk. We're trying to sort out those entitlement risks prior to close. That's been one, I think, area of risk, is just the entitlement and understanding what requirements we're going to be held to by the city, because there isn't a code book that says, all right, here's what to do, when there's a hotel conversion in your jurisdiction. They're trying to take the residential code book and apply it to ours, sometimes the new construction playbook. And so some cities, there's a city in Colorado, I won't call them out, but they wanted to charge impact fees. The same amount of fee for each one of our studio units that they were charging for if we had built a 10,000 square foot luxury home, is the same amount of impact fees. And so they're ultimately trying to do their job at the cities, and I empathize with that. This is just an alternative way of developing. We're taking an existing asset, redeveloping it in a sustainable way. And sometimes the code is a little bit more rigid to allow for that. But our team's really good at navigating that process.